I think that this is the first day that I've beat Jeff to the workout. What's going on, Jeff? Just strolling in, all cool and casual. What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
I'm pretty consistently late, so he gets a pass. Today, working out with Jeff, we went back to the basics, focused on the fundamentals. I have been having some issues with this tendon area around my knee running, so we were kind of doing some exercises just to see if we could isolate where the problem was. This side is so much less stable.
Yeah, so, checking in with Ronzio this morning, trying to get a sense of kind of where his body was at, and he was mentioning some knee pain. So we really try to focus on, sort of examining what was going on there. Questions I'm always asking whenever somebody presents with any sort of pain or discomfort, of kind of, what is the causes? What are the root causes of this? What are the contributors and compensation patterns that might exacerbate this? And then, is this a consequence of something else going on in the body? And especially when it comes to knee pain, a lot of times it's something either down below in the ankle or up above in the hip that just isn't moving the way it could be or should be. So we went in and kind of tooled around with some of those, playing around with stretching, movement, getting into some more strengthening exercises. That side plank, though, at the end, we could tell was really kind of lighting it up. So with the ultimate goal that he leaves here feeling a little bit more balanced and whole and ready to go. So we didn't do any sort of kind of crushing, intense workout, and that is totally okay.
Yeah, it's all right to not. I mean, sometimes that's what I need the most, because I have no problem going and crushing myself and doing these intense things on a daily basis. What I have a problem with sometimes is pulling it back and really stretching and working on the release work.
Yeah. I mean, the more you work out intensely, then the more you also need to do that other body maintenance work, the more you need to focus on the rebalancing, the recovering. Otherwise, there's a very, very good chance you're just going to continue to kind of layer intensity, fatigue, strength stuff on top of dysfunctional movement patterns or things that maybe are a little bit out of balance. Coming back to kind of reestablish baseline is really, really key, and finding the ways that you can do that, whether that's through, foam rolling and myofascial release at home, whether that's through some sort of yoga type practice, whether that's, through getting a massage from your significant other on a regular basis, whatever it is.
Alex, one of my pieces of homework is that I need a foot massage. I'll ask you for that later.
Foot massages, highly, highly recommended.
So what are you thinking is possibly going on with my leg or like the imbalances, the tightness or whatever, and what are you recommending that I do?
Anytime something is hurting, first gauge, how much does it hurt? Scale from 1 to 10. 10, oh my God, I can't move it. All right, 1 is I barely notice it. And then what type of pain or discomfort is it? Is it sharp? Is it dull? Is it achy? Does it only show up in certain types of motions or at certain times of day? I think with Ronzio's knee, we just have a little bit of an inflamed tendon that could have been from who knows what, because this guy is so active, monkeying around and climbing and running and swimming. But there's a good chance that maybe just landed on it the wrong way, put a little bit more force into it than it was capable of handling at that moment. That's just causing this sort of kind of low level what would you describe the sensation as?
Yeah, it's definitely like when you were asking the questions you would ask. It's not like it's lingering all the time. Sometimes when I'm running, I don't even feel it, but there are certain movements, certain motions on the run, certain extensions or retractions that it is a tinging, sharp pain. And especially when we were doing like the side plank, when I was trying to put my weight on it, that I couldn't even do. Some of these exercises I could, like, you know, it was dull, it was there, but I could push through. And that was the kind of thing I could not even put my weight like that. That ramped it up from a 2 or a 3 to a 8 or a 9, you know?
Right, yeah. And, you know, when it comes to pain, discomfort in the exercise world, you know, there's always this question that arises of like, do I continue on? Do I push through, right? Or do I back off? Do I rest, right? And there is no one size fits all prescription for this. Like, you have to take it on a case-by-case basis. You have to know your body, and you have to use some sort of wisdom and wise discernment to figure that out. But, you know, I think in the case of, you know, Ranzio's leg, what we've, you know, discovered, you know, based upon how kind of transient the pain is and how kind of low grade it is, that I think, you know, some gentle movement can be good to help work things out of the system, but probably not going on any super long runs is going to be a good approach.
That'll be tough. But it's all right. I need to get the bike out. I need to do more swimming anyway. So I'll be transitioning my workouts. I'll be in California this week, probably not going for long runs.
You know, I guess the other thing to think about is, you know, what are you moving for, right? I mean, some, you know, daily movement is inevitable. If it hurts every time you walk, like, that's one situation. But if it only hurts during your workout, then can you either modify your workout to you know, avoid the things that are aggravating it, or B, you know, decide, like, are you in this for maximizing this? Like, is this a performance type or competition type or some sort of race type situation where maybe in this case, like, you know, enduring a little bit more discomfort is necessary just to cross the finish line. All right, but generally in training, we're thinking much longer term. We're thinking about how can we optimize today's session, all right, to create these longer term adaptations. And you never really want to have to, you know, push through pain, you know, in a training session, because the likelihood that that's going to set you up for success later on is probably pretty low. So that's some thoughts for the day.
Thanks, man. Thanks for dropping the knowledge bombs over here.
For sure.
Reeling me back in from my insanity sometimes.
I want to keep you whole and healthy, you know, for the next many decades.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for following along. I feel like our trainings now they started doing exactly what we did today, and then we ramped it up, and now we pulled it back to those.
Has all good things,
those core
right?
workouts.
There's cyclical fashions, right? You know, you go through progressions, you come back to basics, you go through progressions, and it's this scalloping effect, right? That trend line, though, you want to see moving in that direction where you want to be headed.
And it is. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
JeffSiegelWellness.com. Explore Inspired. Woo!